Hey everybody, Scout Crafty here again. Today is our first video of the new year, 2022. I hope everything is going good for you so far. And I was thinking about for my first video, I've been saying this for a while, but I wanted to put together a video of things that I've picked up in my almost six decades on this planet that I would pass on to you, and especially some of you younger guys. I wish I would have known this before, but I put together about 8 points that if you follow these 8 points, I guarantee you that not just 2022, but the rest of your life will be happier and more prosperous for you, and it'll just be a better lifestyle to live. And these are points that I'm sure some of you old timers already figured out, but I wish somebody would have sat me down and said, here's just a guideline of things to do, and your life will be much better. So let's get started with that real quick. The first point, if you're new to this channel, it won't be a surprise, but the first point is obviously never watch the news. And even if you want to watch the weather on the news, doesn't matter. Go to the weather app or whatever. Do never watch the news under any circumstance. That's number one. Okay, number two comes from my dad, actually. He taught me this. It's about balance. You must keep balance in your life, meaning there's 24 hours in a day, and you should have 8 hours work, 8 hours sleep, and 8 hours play. And if you keep that balance in your life right off the bat, things will go much better. A lot of us tend to, especially sleep, a lot of us take away from the sleep and the play because work cuts into it. You can't. Keep that balance, 8, 8, and 8, and it worked out really good. It was a great tip from my dad. Number three is a pretty obvious one. It has to do with a diet and also a vitamin. It's a good thing. When I say diet, learn your body. Your body will tell you what it likes and what it doesn't like. For example, I read in the 1910 Boy Scout manual, Baden-Powell had said that if something is repeating on you, that means your body isn't accepting it and you shouldn't eat it. It was genius, so simple back then, but there are a lot of foods that our bodies will either agree with or not. So I don't care how healthy the person says that food is. If you don't feel right after eating it, then don't eat it. Don't force yourself to eat foods your body doesn't like, and you know what works for you and what doesn't. And eat clean, meaning try and get the least amount of ingredients in your food, preservatives, things like that. Stay away from. That's all. It's not. You don't have to eat like a rabbit, and And the other thing is a vitamin. Try and take a good multivitamin a day. But I like the gummy vitamins, like a 5-year-old. But that works for me. Some vitamins repeat on me. Again, it told me right away to stay away from them. I can't take those hard horse pills. The gummy vitamins, one a day, they work for me, and it also keeps your, vitamin D and things like that if you don't get out in the sun too often. But that's it, just a multivitamin and some extra vitamin D and C if you see, like during the winter time. Great tip. Number 4 on our list is sunshine. Believe it or not, sunshine has a lot to do with our depression. Also great for getting vitamin D. Try and get 15 minutes of sunshine or outside time every day. And it's tough here, especially in the winter time in the Northeast. Some places it's hard to get out, but and you don't have to be stripped down to get that sunshine, to get the benefits of being outside with the sunshine. But if you can get 15 minutes of sunshine a day, it does really help. And outside time, fresh air, things like that, that'll make a big difference. If you can't get it for some reason or other, do supplement with that vitamin D. That makes a big difference. Number 5 is exercise and stretching. That's really important for the body. It's also good for the mind because of the exercise releases some endorphins and you have to make some time to do some sort of exercise. Work, I don't care what you do for a living, it's not exercise. It's not the same thing. If you can get out to do a little bit of a walk every day, and you could do something that you put aside, even the treadmill or a stationary bike or anything to get your heart rate up, that's number 1. And stretching. Stretching is really important for, especially as we get older, the range of motion, because the longer you don't stretch, the more tight you will get over the years and harder it will be to get back into shape. So even if you do, like I said, 15 minutes a day, that makes a huge difference. It releases endorphins in your body, and mentally, physically. It's really important to do. Emotionally, it'll keep you sound. So exercise and stretching. Number 6, one of my favorites is you have to have a hobby of some sort, any kind of hobby. You need something to drive you in life. And you know, if you're just getting up and going to work and coming home and going to, you know, it's going to kill you after a while. That's not a driving force in life. And if, you know, you look at all the older people in your life that you know that are happy and stable and successful, what you would call successful, they all have a driving force, a hobby of some sort. I don't care what it is, whether it's collecting stamps or whatever you do, but just have something that drives you, that you look forward to, that you could think about when you're at work or daydreaming or something that you want to do. Hobby's a great thing, and you know I love that one. Number 7, this one's a good one. Surround yourself with positive people and happy people. You know, this is an important step. A lot of times we take this for granted. You know, the last thing you want to do is surround yourself with people that are depressed, or people that are non-achievers, and you know, because they'll just bring you down. That's why, again, you don't watch the news and things like that. But always surround yourself with people that are positive and people that are going to make you better, and that will in turn keep you going. You know, that's an important step, and a lot of people take that for granted. Sometimes we're even stuck in relationships where, you know, you're with a very negative person and it brings you down. You can't have that. You have to have a talk with that person and say, look, stop. You know, I want to be positive. I want to be happy. And all you do is just bring me down every day. Keep bringing me down, man. Okay, number 8, last one. And that went quick, right? That wasn't bad. Number 8, be happy. And you know, I know it sounds goofy when somebody says, be happy, you know. Happiness is not something, it's like exercise. You don't get in shape by just wanting to be in shape. You have to do the exercise. It's the same thing. If you want to be happy, it doesn't come, you know, you just can't wish being happy. You have to make yourself happy. And by following those previous 7 steps, this will put you on a path to happiness. And that's an important thing. So if you're always positive and happy, life is so much better. So those are my 8 steps. I guarantee you, if you follow those, and some of you already are following some are saying, yeah, I need more help with number 2 or 4 or whatever. If you follow those steps, I guarantee you, this time next year, you will be a whole different person, and a better person, guaranteed. Okay, so with that, let's see what we got planned for today. Okay, next up, one thing I always liked was those puzzles. You ever see those machinist puzzles, like nuts and bolts and things like that? Well, I bought this box. I bought this up at the hardware store upstate, $5. I got all this box. It's 7/16 bolts. But look at this one here. This is a puzzle bolt that was in there, and you see here, one has a cap. There's a screw going in there, and there's a washer. And the idea is to get the washer off. Now, this bolt, you can't get this nut off the other way, right? It's a regular bolt, but how do you get the washer off? This won't come off. This spins only a little bit. That washes one piece. It's a hardened washer. What do? How do you get this to come off? Well, check this out. How cool is this? You ready? Now, that's all screwed like that. If you turn this like this, oh my goodness. Well, you look at this. Inside of that is a little miniature screwdriver. Okay, and you take the screwdriver and then you undo the nut, the little set screw here. Okay, you just undo it until this starts to spin, and then when it spins, you can see you can remove the washer. How cool is that, huh? And there's a little set screw, how, you know, the hole that the set screw sits in. Isn't that cool? What do you say we make this now? Okay, this is where it's all beginning. Now, hopefully, if this worked out, you have seen how this came out, but I am just starting this right now. I will put that footage in before, hopefully, if it works out. But my idea is to make one of those trick bolts. You know the type. I just always liked them. There's many different types of trick bolts, but the one I wanted to make was just a simple one. And what I wanted to do is cut off the head of one of these bolts and make it so that it's threaded here and then comes down to a small screwdriver that will have a set screw in here that I'll make out of this. and it should be fun. So let's go to the lathe, because that is what I love to do. And let's go over there and have some fun. Now sometimes if you're getting a little slippage like we were here, you can see the part here was slipping in as we were pushing it because there's a lot of pressure on here. What you want to do is you want to take some paper towel with a little isopropyl alcohol, okay? And because you're always putting oil to lubricate your parts and stuff, and sometimes you have to clean the inside of the chuck here, where it grips the part. Just clean it and get some of that oil residue out of there, and that'll make a huge difference in how it holds, because if it's oily, even though it's cutting fluid, it will sometimes slip on you. So make sure you wipe these down occasionally with some denatured or rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol, and keep your jaws nice and clean. Also, if you have some high pressure operations where you're putting a lot of force pushing in, what you want to do is you want to make sure you tighten up all three of your chuck nuts here, and tighten them up like this so that they're nice and tight, and that'll help you so that you won't get that slippage of, because you have a lot of forces pushing in. Usually you don't have too much forces pushing in unless you're drilling. Usually the forces go left to right laterally, but you know, when we're doing a lot of heavy drilling and hardened steel, you want to make sure that you tighten that down. You can see here we did what we did was we drilled and tapped this at a 1/4 inch, 1/4 by 20 into the bolt. Goes down to where about my thumb is. Now what we have to do is take the secondary bolt and we have to cut it down to kind of this profile. We want to have a little bit of a 1/4 by 20 thread, and then going down to about 3/16 to a flat bladed screwdriver. All from this. That's going to be fun to do. Let's get to the lathe and try that. Okay, we have some interesting challenges we're running into here. First of all, now we cut off the threads of that bolt here. You know, we just cut that off with a hacksaw, okay? And then what we did is I drilled a small hole in the end because it has to be supported. See, I only have this small head here to hold in the jaws. That's not enough to do any kind of machining. We have to have some support, rigidity on the other side. So what I have now, the situation I have is, you know, the heads are not done. This wasn't machined. It was done in a forge, a press. So these head, you know, they're usually oblong. They don't give you a perfectly aligned head to the shaft. So what we have to do is we have to make up for that. And you can see when I turn it on, we're not perfect, but we're close. And this will support the edge. And now we're going to turn this down a 1/4 inch. We're going to thread here and then turn this down even farther, and then make that into a screwdriver, hopefully without ruining it. So let's get started with that. Now to turn the shaft down to 1/4 inch, we take our dowel pin set, and you can see this one goes up to 1/4 inch. That's a 1/4 inch here. Okay, so what we do is we take that and we take our calipers and we set them up so they just gently touch over here like that. And now that's set for 1/4 inch, and that's what we'll use over at the lathe so we don't have to keep measuring. Okay, you can see we turned this end down here to until the calipers just passed over. You see that with just a little bit of touching. And now when we measure it with the calipers here, okay, let's see what we get here. 250 thousandths. Right there, we're at 252 or something, and it's a little bit warm, and we're going to go through it, so that's fine. And that's, now we could take this diameter all the way down to the shoulder of the bolt, okay? So that's how you do it without worrying. You have to keep checking. Now we know that's 1/4 inch, bang right to the top. So there we go. Now you saw how this was made. Pretty interesting, huh? Cool little fun toy. And that's another reason number 1658 why you should buy a lathe. Okay, so in closing, it's always great when your first project of the year turns out to work. You know, that's always a good sign, right? I hope you have I got a lot of things planned for this year. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you have a great day. Take care now. Bye-bye. If you turn this like this, oh my goodness, will you look at this? Inside of that is a little miniature screwdriver.